Kia ora, good evening. Economic activity last year saw the biggest annual growth since the start of the recession. Gross domestic product rose 2.5% last year, the highest annual growth since March 2008 when the recession began. That's according to figures from Statistics New Zealand, which also show a 1.5% rise in the 3 months to December, the biggest quarterly increase since December 2009. Statistics New Zealand says 15 of the 16 industries recorded saw increases reflecting broad growth. Among areas to see the largest growth, forestry and logging, retail trade and construction. Southland District Council residents could be facing a rates increase of more than 4%. In its draft annual plan to be put to Council next week, a rates increase of 4.25% is proposed. That's a drop from the 5.11% previously outlined in the Council's long-term plan. The drop was made in light of the economic environment. Finance Manager Sheree Mara says proposed cost savings have been made by budget managers, the Regional Heritage Fund rate has been cut, and accelerated harvest of forestry is offsetting some cost. A strong quake struck near Milford Sound this morning but didn't cause any known damage. The 4.4 quake struck 35 kilometres west of Milford Sound at a depth of 5 kilometres at 10:30. GNS duty seismologist Caroline Little says the intensity of the quake was strong at its centre point but wasn't widely felt due to the remoteness of the location. She says had it struck under a populated area, it would not have been enough to cause structural damage, and this type of earthquake is quite normal for the area. The quake is not related to two others which have struck near Milford over the past week. Southland's Entertainer of the Year has been chosen. It's the Humble Singer's biggest win to date. Sarah Bedford has the story.
Some of the South's most talented entertainers took to the stage last night, performing for a record crowd in Invercargill. More than 600 people were at the Westpac Southland Entertainment Awards, the biggest crowd ever. Taking home the Calvin Hotel Entertainer of the Year award was Alice Fraser, who says she was surprised to hear her name called.
I was really shocked actually, and humbled. I just thought the calibre of talent was really high, and it is really high, and I couldn't have chosen myself if I was a judge or an audience member, but yeah, it was awesome. It was an honour to represent Southland, yeah.
The 33-year-old stopped full-time teaching at the end of last year and began to sing professionally recently. She already has plans for her musical career.
Next steps, well currently I've recently joined I'm part of an acoustic duo. It's another musician, he's a singer and guitarist, and so we're sort of starting to gig around the place, and we're looking at forming a band as well. So that's sort of the first venture, and we'll be looking at not only doing covers, but in a little bit more time we'll be looking at writing and co-creating some of our own music, so that'll be pretty cool.
Judge Jason Thornton knew what he was looking for in the finalists.
Basically the best performer, the most interactive in the community, someone who really has something to offer and musically, and in terms of making Southland a better place on the map, or a bigger place on the map.
Awards convener Chris Chilton says the talent in Southland is extraordinary, and the awards are an important way to recognise the region's entertainers.
There are awards for so many things, but there's nothing for arts and entertainment. And from the Southland Musicians Club's perspective, and that's the people that run this event, we felt that it was important that the musicians had some sort of a recognition for their achievements. And we've also incorporated the Ascot Park Hotel Brass Band, ILT City of Invercargill Pipe Band and Invercargill Musical Theatre, so we've sort of broadened the scope of the whole show.
The event first started in the 1960s and went into remission before being restarted in the 80s. For the past 5 years it's been held at the Civic Theatre and has incorporated 2 pipe bands and the Invercargill Musical Theatre. In that time it's seen strong growth.
Before that it was sort of more of a rock club type thing, where just the guitarists and the drummers and bass players etc. got recognised. This way, most improved piper for instance, the most improved brass band player, all those people get recognition now, and they all get to perform at the show, so the public gets a really, really good variety show.
For this year's winner, the most stressful part might be over, but there's still plenty of work ahead as she follows her passion. Sarah Bedford, South Today News.
Stay with us, still to come, surf's up for high schoolers at Colac Bay. Welcome back. The lack of rain in the south has meant many households are having to purchase water to avoid being left high and dry. A lack of rain coupled with hot, dry conditions in the south is keeping water carriers busy. Some households on rural supply and areas such as Otatara are being forced to purchase water, and some dairy farmers are also requesting deliveries. The majority of water delivered by carriers is coming from Invercargill's water supply, with Gore and Southland District Councils limiting water for purchase. Public Health South says regular tank cleans and leaving water to settle will help residents avoid consuming stirred up sediment. It's been more than 2 years since the Waituna Lagoon was recognised as being in danger of flipping to a point of no return due to increased sediment and nutrients in the waterways. Environment Southland has been working to improve the quality of the lagoon, and Land Sustainability Officer Katrina Robertson says progress is being made.
There's been a lot of work done on farm by the farmers out in the catchment, and there's also been a lot of science and investigation been underway. So we didn't just want to say, well, we've got to collect science and get more information about the issue. We wanted to be doing things straight away at the same time as well. So yeah, we actively got out on farm with farmers, looking at things they could do straight away on their property and things they could, obviously take a couple more years to put in place, and also at the same time say, well, what are the information gaps in the science, and where do we actually need to look and find more out about the problem in the lagoon itself.
So what work's being done there and now?
So right now farmers are continuing with best practice on farm, so things like upgrading the effluent consents, putting in effluent storage ponds, which costs quite a lot of money for them, a big investment, and doing riparian fencing and planting, managing laneways, runoff, overland flow. Also, Environment Southland, as part of the cleanup fund money we received a couple of years ago through Ministry for the Environment, we're undertaking a rebattering trial on a stretch of Waituna Creek. So this involves rebattering part of the stream banks on this creek and also putting in rock protection works. So hopefully that'll help with some of the soil erosion that's happening. And as part of the cleanup fund money, we're also looking at trialling some constructed wetlands in the catchment, so we're working with NIWA on this.
So when will we see results from this work?
So as part of the rebattering trial that we're doing water quality monitoring, fish and invertebrate monitoring before the rebattering started, during it and after, to see if there has been any less erosion with the rebattering works. Also, we're monitoring sediment that's coming through the catchment. So since March last year, we've been doing a sediment fingerprinting study, and so we analyse the sediment that's coming through so we can work out where it's coming from. So if a lot of it's coming from the bank erosion, then we know that rebattering will be definitely a great way of reducing the amount of sediment getting into the lagoon.
So in terms of where we are now compared with 2 years ago, is there less risk of the lagoon flipping?
I think we're still at quite a high risk of the lagoon flipping. The lagoon is quite a complex environment, so with the whole tidal nature of it, when it's open to the sea, that brings in the issues of the saline water, and the algae loves the saline water, and then of course the effects on the rupia. So it's still an ongoing issue for us that we need to work on. It's not going to be able to be fixed overnight. Obviously we're still 2 years down the track now and it hasn't been fixed. It took a long time to get into the state, so many years to get to the state it's in, so it's going to take many years to address the issue as well. But everyone's working together really well, farmers, stakeholders, Dairy NZ, Fonterra, Fish and Game, Beef and Lamb, DOC, iwi, we're all working together, and hopefully we'll be able to get the result in the end that we really want.
Hector's dolphins weren't the only ones surfing the waves at Colac Bay today. The H&J's Outdoor World 2013 Southland Secondary School Surfing Champs were held today at popular surfing spot Trees at Colac Bay. It's been 7 years since the competition was last held, and the resurrected event drew 28 competitors. Surfing conditions proved ideal for the level of surfers competing, with a good swell on the incoming tide. The students are learning to surf as an elective subject, and contest director Jess Terrell says surfing as a sport is growing in popularity with all ages.
Competition hasn't been held for 7 years, so it's been good to resurrect the event and provide something, a goal type set up for the kids to work towards. We've been doing training sessions leading up to the event every Sunday, Kiwi Sport funded, and they've been working really hard.
How is something like this judged?
The way the contest works, you have 4 competitors in a heat, which is 20 minutes long. Those competitors are allowed to catch up to 10 waves, and we have 3 judges on the panel at one time scoring each wave on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being poor, 10 being excellent. Then the top 3 scores from that competitor are added up to give it a total heat score for that competitor, and then an average is taken from those 3 judges' sheets.
How long does it take these younger kids to learn how to surf?
It can take months to learn to surf. I have a local surf school called Southland Surf School. Most of my students are up and riding surfing on their first session, but if you're not shown the right way, it can take months and months and months to actually learn to surf, but actually years to really master going along and doing manoeuvres.
Riverton Primary School students were out of the classroom working on their team building skills today. A special Agri-Sports Day event saw young farmers set up challenges including geography, road and fire safety, confidence courses and first aid. Teams of around 10 were careful to make sure everyone got a turn, with points divided between competing and teamwork. The event's held every 3 years to help children learn new skills, increase knowledge and confidence. Timing also gave a group of students from Riverton Primary's sister school, Schoolsbury Primary in Melbourne, a chance to take part. And that's it from news. Sport is along after the weather next. From the news team, good night.